Good morning, everybody. It's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 majors analysis update for the 21st of July 2011. So we're looking at our 4 majors, starting with the Euro against US dollar on our CTC strategy template. Let's have a look. So we know the intermediate trend is down and the major's up. Okay, and then recently we've seen a break and a consolidation above a prior support and resistance long term. The 1400 comes to mind to start with. A lot of resistance in the past and tons of support over the past couple of months. There's 1, 2, 3 months. In fact, we've seen bounces. Noticeable bounces just recently after a very negative downturn in the market. And we've seen price push higher. So that would have been the start. That's the high of it, and this is the low again. So you can see it's heading towards 50% projection of the initial move. 100% will take us back to the intermediate downtrend, which is where our overall target would be in this uptrend that we're seeing here on the Euro against US dollar pair. It's broken through the 50-period moving average on the Asian market trading this morning. It's heading and just short of the 50-period moving average on a daily time frame, which brings us to just to the underside of the prior swing to the downside. This little consolidation band here. There we go, just above the 14,300 mark, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, which is the 61.8% fib extension line. So got a bit of resistance here. I presume with a consolidation. There we go. You can see the more I drag it back, the more you can see the resistance. Bang, bang, support, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance again, and we're heading towards this way. Just remember Euro today, we have a hell of a lot of news out on Euro pairs. We have French manufacturing services, manufacturing results. We have the German manufacturing and service results. We have the current account figures expected at 9 AM GMT. We have flash manufacturing PMI results, flash services PMI results at 9 AM. So loads of data coming out between 7 AM GMT now, right through until approximately 9 AM GMT this morning. We have a lot on Euro. Then we have sterling coming up later, followed by the US dollar this afternoon. So where it's heading to in the moment now, we could see consolidation as we head towards this 14,300 mark, and we could see possible consolidation at this area. So as the news event, if those news results are more favorable than they are looking at, which a lot of them are looking at being quite negative, primarily because the euro is very negative at the moment now, we're probably going to see that being reflected in the forecast figures that are coming out. If that's the case, then we could see a bit of a consolidation or pause or pullback possibly before we see further upside movement, because you can see that we have seen extensions over the past 3 days. We could see consolidation now. So budget time, ideally we want to see price trading above 14,300 to get an idea that we're going to see further extensions higher. Otherwise we can see consolidation here and a failure here, followed by further downside movement would show us a new swing low, which is going to be lower than that one, so we should be looking back at the 1400 as our next possible target for the remainder of this week, going into the new week. Next up is sterling against US dollar. Here again we've seen 3 consecutive days of upside movement after a bounce. You'll notice that we're trading an intermediate downtrend, and that downtrend is in play as we speak. However, we have news out today. You can see price has broken through a major trend just recently. We saw a bit of consolidation after that break, and then a continuation to the downside, a push to the underside. So breakout, pullback, continuation, and what we've seen recently is price breaking price swing lows. Here we go. There's a noticeable one here, quite a strong one, and underside continuation. Now it's broken higher, but the intermediate downtrend was in play. And because this is the new trend now, because we've broken the major downtrend, uptrend, apologies, this could be our new major downtrend. As long as we see further extensions lower, ideally we want to be trading below 1600 and keeping below 1600 to confirm that downtrend. However, you can see price is trying its darnest to stay above the 1600 mark. As long as it stays above 1600 long term, it still looks more of consolidation breakout with a consolidation with a potential for further upside movement in this overall trend, the major trend that is. So 1600, you can see resistance in the past and a hell of a lot of support through the first part of this year, and you can see just at the latter month or so we've seen a lot of touches, primarily because of what's happening through Europe and through the UK in terms of the issues we're having. Primarily those issues are more are going to be more magnified because of the closest relationship we have with Euro, and one of the reasons why Euro is doing so badly is also being reflected on the sterling market. But nonetheless, you can see that price has made a change in direction, quite a strong one. After a break low, we thought we were definitely going to see lower swings. However, we saw this indecision, or this very indecisive candle followed by massive buying in the market, which took out the entire 2 weeks of trading, and then we saw consolidation and a push higher. However, that's brought us back to this intermediate downtrend. Got to see a break above that. I mentioned that in yesterday's video analysis. We have to see a break above the prior swing low. In this case, breaking above the prior swing will definitely confirm that we've broken the intermediate trend down, i.e. this one over here, the strong one down, and by doing so we could see more bullishness coming into the market, which would mean that there is more likelihood for further upside movement. So between where we are trading now and where 1625 is, we have the intermediate trend and the 50-period moving average to deal with. Deal with that, then we have the 1625 mark to deal with. Get above 1625, CTC will generally start to go blue across the board, primarily because we've broken above an intermediate trend lower. You can see we have the first two. If this candle continues to close blue today, then all we need to do is the CTC on the other side to go blue to confirm that, and then we should be looking at the underside of the major trend as our first target, or in this case the prior swing, which is going to confirm the underside of the major trend, roughly around the 1637 mark. So very important today. We have a lot of news out. We have some public sector net borrowing figures out at 9:30 GMT for sterling, followed by retail sales month-to-month figures. Both of them are lower than, well, the one public sector net borrowing looks like they're expecting a forecast of less borrowing, which is going to be positive. If the borrowing is in fact less, then which means it's good for the economy. There's also expecting better, or they're forecasting better figures for retail sales month to month. Previous figure was negative 1.4%. They're expecting a 0.5% increase. If that's the case, then we're definitely going to see the sterling rally against the US dollar. We could definitely look at 1625 as our first target. If those figures come out mixed, then we could definitely see a failure here, a bearish engulfing at a resistance level, intermediate resistance level to the downside, and then we could be possibly looking at ultimately our institutional moving average as our first target, followed by the 1600. So let's wait for those figures at 9:30 GMT. We could see a bit of speculation coming into the market prior to those figures and after. Let's bide our time, see exactly where we want to be, and then we'll trade the news. Well, we'll trade the outcome of the news, put it that way. Next up is the US dollar Swiss franc. The major downtrend is still very much in play. So I'm just going to put that in so you guys can see it. CTC is well extended. This has been a beautiful trending trade to the downside. A lot of momentum just recently. Notice the breakouts, the pullbacks, the continuations of this pair as the months have gone on. And you can see just recently we had a breakout of a consolidation range, quite a strong one over a period of time. Look at that box breakout, very strong one. I'm going to put it in so you guys can see it. There we go. Consolidating for over almost a 2-month period, then a breakout, slight consolidation, then a hammer formation, engulfing the prior 2 days, and then we saw an up candle of that. This candle failing to break higher, coinciding, saw a slight pullback on the wick, confirming that there's more of a bearish sentiment and creeping into it. We need to see price trading higher than that. The only downside is you break this price support area, but you've got to deal with a major trend after, which doesn't really stack up, and we've seen price revert to the downside. And you can see Asian market going to European session this morning. The Asian markets trading lower. European session kick off in Europe. We've seen price still open and close trading very, very negative. This can be very ideal to see. We have got a lot of news out this afternoon for the US dollar. We have unemployment claims this afternoon, followed by Mr. Chairman Bernanke. Fed Chairman Bernanke is going to be testifying at 3 p.m. GMT this afternoon. And then also we have the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, expecting better figures. Previous forecast was negative 7.7. They're expecting a forecast of 2.7. So expecting better manufacturing figures for the US. Regardless of what the US are going through at the moment now, with them actually having to deal with their debt issues and reach their ceiling, their loan ceiling at $14 trillion, and now they're looking, Democrats and Republicans are trying to thrash out a deal to see if they should be upping or trying to work out on how to lower that debt issue, and that's been reflected in the markets recently, with the US losing a lot more ground against its peers. So seen a consolidation, then we've seen a slight pullback. Where to next? Well, if we don't see another attempt at the high, so we need to see a trading range higher, then we're not going to see the 8300 tested soon. We could possibly see the 805 being the next target, primarily because we've had a breakout pullback and then a continuation. That's what's been happening over the past couple of months for this pair. Breakout pullback continuation along the way, and that could remain breakout pullback continuation for this pair until further notice, because we are still very much in a negative trend. Even though we have the consolidation, you can still make money on these. However, we got to see price trading well above 830 or 83500, because we have two very strong resistance levels now in play, and the likelihood of that occurring are quite slim. So look for further opportunities to the downside. Ideally a close lower than yesterday's candle, 81.8180, would definitely signal further downside movement for this pair. The last pair of the day is the USD against the Japanese yen. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. This pair breaking out of a very strong consolidation range recently at the 80 mark, very strong support area. And the more I zoom out, you'll notice that over the past couple of months we've seen this pair trading at a consolidation range to the downside. Highs are getting lower in this downtrend, and sure enough we've seen price break that very strongly, and sure enough we've seen price attempt or test a prior support area in the past, and it's looking like it's testing the underside of this prior support area, and we could be looking for further movement to the downside. This candle yesterday's candle range literally engulfing all of this consolidation here that we saw over the past week, and we've seen a slight consolidation on the underside of that. However, very much a spinning top at the moment, indecision doji, and if we don't see price trading higher, then we could see price just pulling back slightly and then consolidating and then having another thrust to the downside. The US dollar is going to lose ground the longer it takes for them to actually come up with a deal relating to their debt issues, which will take a lot of time at the moment now because it's quite a significant ask. But you can see that price has been trading in this consolidation range, and we need to see a break of the consolidation range, which we have seen. A bearish engulfing pattern has confirmed that there's more negative sentiment in it than there's positive. So ideally we want to see a pull off the bottom end, trading lower than this candle here that we saw a couple of days ago at 78.50 would definitely confirm that we should be looking at 7,700 as our next possible target for the pair overall. CTC is extended to the downside, and we're trading below a major price support. So yeah, it's looking more bearish than bullish. So let's look at lows, shorting opportunities. It's about our time to see what happens this afternoon for the US dollar Japanese yen, because they're quite closely tied, as well as US dollar Canadian pair. So wait for the news out this afternoon to definitely confirm where prices are literally going to go for this pair. That's it, guys, for today. I hope you have a fantastic trading day. please ensure that if you're using the CTC, to follow the rules of it and to follow it or back it up with very strong money management rules. Take your profits when they present themselves, become more consistent in taking profits, and the larger your trading account will grow, the sooner your account will grow exponentially. So take it into consideration, and most importantly, trade serenely.